Welcome to Northern Yarn Arts. Today we're going to start knitting with the long tail cast on. When you are knitting, you're going to have what's called a tail here, and your working yarn, which is the yarn coming from the ball. With the long tail cast on, you are going to have a long enough tail to have this be part of each stitch in your cast on. Now, so to avoid having super long tail and way more than you need or running out of yarn, there is a formula that you can use, and we're going to just use it quickly now for the project that I'm getting ready to cast on. My project requires 33 stitches. I'm just going to turn the light down on my screen here so you can actually see it. Okay, so I've got my calculator out. So the formula is 33, or the number of stitches, times the millimeter size of your needle. My needle is 4.5 millimeters, so 4.5 divided by 8. Okay, so I need 18.56 inches just for the tail, and then to be extra safe we're going to add an extra 4 inches because you want to have something to weave in at the end. So I need 22.5625 inches for a tail. Okay, so now I know that I need approximately 2 feet, maybe a little less, so I'll just pull that out. So let's see, that's about 1 foot, about 2 feet there. Okay, so I've got my tail over here, my yarn over here. It's a good idea to always have your tail going to the left and your working yarn over to the right. Okay, so I'm going to make a slip knot. First stitch, good stitch to know for any yarn arts. So I'm going to take my tail in my hand, going down across my palm, and wrap it around my 2 fingers and make an X. I'm going to reach through, grab that slip knot. Okay, so let's do that one more time. Tail down, working yarn in my hand, wrap around, make an X, grab that slip knot. If you want to pause and practice that a few times, that might be a good idea, because that's something that you're not going to use again in the project, but you will use again for subsequent projects. So after that, I'm going to put my yarn onto my needle. It's called slip knot because when you pull on your working yarn, it will slip now in there. Okay, so the next step is the actual cast on. So I've got my first stitch sitting there already. Okay, so I'm going to grab the 2 yarns, making sure that my tail is on the left, my working yarn is on the right, and I am just going to put my fingers through. So my first finger and my thumb is going to go through this and have my tail wrapped around my thumb, my working yarn wrapped around my finger. Okay, so they're going to kind of be behind the thumb and the finger. So let's just do that again. Working yarn or tails over here, working yarn is over here. I'm going to grab it, anchor it with these 2 fingers, wrap it around that thumb and forefinger. And I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to kind of almost scrape up. So up is the first step, so up, and then that's going to put my tail onto my needle to start with. Then I'm going to I'm holding this with my other finger so that it doesn't fall off, and then I'm going to wrap my hand so that my needle can go down, and then I can wrap it around like that. Now I've got 2 parts on there. I'm going to need something to anchor the stitch. This is the actual stitch, the one that came from my finger. So that means this has got to wrap around. So I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to put it forward. Then that, if you see, watch, it's going to hold. It's going to twist around and it is going to hold that stitch on. That's made another, so now I've got 2 stitches. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. Up on the thumb, down on the forefinger. Now I'm going to, just to make it faster, pull my thumb forward. So it wraps around that stitch. So that's 3 stitches on my needle now. So as you get practice, you will get faster. Okay, so you just continue doing that until you have the right number of stitches on the needle. Make sure you're not, when you pull on the tail, that you're not pulling too tight, because you do need to be able to later on get your needle, when you go actually knitting, you need to be able to get your needle into your stitches. Okay, so don't pull too tight. This is again another thing. This is something that that's muscle memory and practice to get the right tension. Okay, so you're just going to continue doing that until you have the right number of stitches. Practice, practice, practice. Get that muscle memory, so part of you, so that you can just do this without thinking. If you have to do it, and then you go, okay, I'm going to try it again. It was too tight, too loose. It is okay to rip something out of Frog Project and start over again. It's all practice. It all works towards getting you better. All right, now you've learned the long tail cast on. Now it's time to practice, 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 and make that part of your muscle memory. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to learn any other cast on methods. There are quite a number of them. Or if there's any questions that you have about the long tail cast on. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. See you next time.